When you're dealing with e-transcript orders, there's a field called the order status, and you need to understand the order status processing to understand the full process of how these transcripts are getting fulfilled. There is a flow of an order. So an order status codes are used to identify the processing stage through which an order passes. So the codes will show you where the order begins and then each status it goes through before it's actually fully processed. Not all orders will pass through the same statuses, because if you have an order that was submitted and the student selected awaiting for grades, well, that particular order is going to go through a status of AG because it's selected for awaiting for grades. But if you have another order where the student wanted the transcript immediately processed, it'll never go through the AG status. Some statuses will require manual intervention to continue the process, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about those because those are the ones that actually require an end user at the college to do something. A lot of your e-transcript request orders are going to process without any intervention whatsoever, but there will be some that will need some end user intervention. Some orders will get updated during the day, but will not process until what we call the polling time. And those are orders that are updated, but it needs that polling time. It needs the banner cloud to come back in and sweep and pick up those orders to get them processing again. The status field is located on SHAETOR. Now, during this video, I'm going to do my best to try to get you to understand what's happening and where you can see things in Banner, but I'm not going to be able to show you full screens in Banner because this is real student data, and I don't want to blast students' information on a YouTube video. So I'll do the best I can to show you the stuff, but also keep our students' information confidential. So the different order status codes are OR, order received, NR, needs research, NF, student not found, AR, attachment needs review, HR, hold for restriction, AG, awaiting grades, AD, awaiting degrees, RG, ready to generate, GF, generation failed, GC, generation complete, TF, transmission failed, TC, transmission completed, FF, order fulfilled, FO, off-align order record sent, and EX, order expired, and CA canceled. So you're going to see there's a lot of different order status codes, but these are not used for every single order. It just depends on what type of order it is and what flow it has to go through, and if it encounters any errors while it's trying to go through the flow. You will see that I have 4 codes that are highlighted. They're bold. That's the NR, needs research, the AR, attachment needs review, the CF, generation failed, and the TF, transmission failed. Those are bolded because those are the codes where an end user would have to do something to get the order moving again. So manual intervention process. So let's just talk about the different codes and try to get a little bit of better understanding of how each one works and what will be required of you. So the needs intervention and action performed by end users. The first one is HR. That's a holds restriction. This says needs CV hold released, and that's only if it's that's a college action hold, and that's the only time you would have one that would show up on a report for you as a college end user to do something. So if it was an HR and the student had an active CV hold, then you would get a Cognos report, or someone at your college would get a Cognos report and say this CV hold needs to be released because an e-transcript order was submitted for the student. There's also something called a student action hold. You will not be alerted to the student action hold ones when it's the student's action that needs to happen to get the request moving. So that's a hold where the student owes some college within our system money. When an order comes in, and if there is a student action hold on it, it'll come in at OR status. So all orders come in at OR status. When the order comes in, it's immediately updated to OR. And then at that moment, Banner runs a process that's trying to match that order request with a person in Banner. So the order will come in with the banner ID if the person provided it, or their student ID. It'll come in with their social, their birthday, and their name. And Banner uses that data to try to match that person up. And if they can match them up, Banner's going to automatically add the correct banner ID to the request form. And then once that happens, the process can then begin to move forward. So once the match is made, Banner then begins to check, does the student have any holds? And if they have a student action hold, an email is sent out to them telling them that they have a hold. It tells them what the hold is, which college has the hold, and who to contact at that college to get that hold released. Another type that needs intervention would be needs research and AR attachments reviewed. So needs research, this means the order came in and Banner couldn't make a match. Or Banner made a match, but they couldn't find any academic history on the student. So these will get stuck at needs research. And this is when you as an end user have to take that burst report that you're going to receive when you have these orders, and you're going to have to start researching them. And if they have a banner ID, Banner did a match, but they don't have any academic history, you then have to decide, well, is this from the legacy system? And then you're going to use data that you glean from their request to find that. And then if they don't exist in your system at all, you would then update them to NF, student not found. So you'll see right here, NF, student not found. If it's AR, that means there's an attachment. So Banner may have made a match, but said, well, there's an attachment. You have to review that attachment before this order can be released. So then you have to log into the NSC site, review the attachment, apply it, approve it, then go into Banner and do the same thing. Approve it. The GF, this just means the request needs to be re-entered. I've never seen this in the last 2 years we've been live with it. So that's just if the process has an issue and we lose connectivity, or the PDF wasn't developed or wasn't sent to the printer, then it'll get updated to a GF. A TF means that the PDF was produced, but we didn't get it back over to the cloud in time. We lost connection with the cloud and it didn't get back over there. And I've seen a few of the TFs, but not many, and it's a very simple process to get these moving again. The next category I have here is manually update by end user. So I already talked about the student not found. When you have an order that comes in, and even if the person has a banner ID, that doesn't mean that banner ID was put in there because of your college. You have to check if that person has no academic history at your college. You can't find anything in the legacy. They say they attended in 2013. You know that would be in Banner if they really attended at that point. You update that order to NF. NSC sends that student an email, and that gives that person 30 minutes to contact the college and discuss why we couldn't find their record. After 30 days, that order is automatically canceled. So you have the cancel code of CA. Now, you also could cancel an order. So let's say this student not found, you actually called him, you talked to him, and then y'all realize he didn't actually attend your college, he attended another college. You could automatically just update that order to a CA and cancel it, because you don't need that 30-day wait period for the student to contact you because you've already spoken to them. So there are some reasons where you would actually just cancel an order. Could be the order came in, the order never processed, the student decided they didn't want a transcript. They call you and say, can you please just cancel it? Because the student is not charged for the transcript until we actually process it. Once the paper one's printed out and the PDF is sent to NSC, that's when the student's charged for the transcript. Then the last section I have on here is orders that process automatically without end user intervention. So that's our automatic matching and processing one. So if an order comes in, it goes to the OR status, Banner does a match, it says, oh yeah, this is the student, let me insert the Banner ID. It's then updated to RG status, meaning ready to generate. Then if it's a paper order, it inserts either paper or PDF, it inserts a row onto SHARQTC, which is your transcript request form. And if it's a paper, it sends it to the printer, and if it's a PDF, it sends it to. If it's an order at AG, awaiting grade status, there's actually a couple of things that need to happen in order for those to release, but they will release naturally if you've set everything up correctly. So number one, the grades have to be rolled for that term, and then number two, your release date on SHRTETC must be in the past. AD, awaiting degrees. There's actually three things that need to happen for awaiting degrees to be released. Number one, the degree in which the student selected, the program in which the student selected when they said awaiting for degrees, that has to be awarded on SHA degree. And the graduation date attached to the degree has to be in the past. It has to be the correct program, exactly correct match to the program that was attached to the student's Sebastian record. Campus, major, program, all has to be identical to the one they selected when they submitted the request. And then the release date has to be in the past that was set on SHRT or TETC for the expected graduation date on their Sebastian record. And then you'll have EX, order expired. This is never one that you would enter manually, but this will update on certain orders. The best example I have is if an order comes in and they have a student action hold and they do not get that hold released, then that order will be canceled. And orders are canceled within 30 days if nothing happens with that order. What indicates that an order has been processed is the status codes of FF and FO. FF is order fulfilled, and that's a PDF order, and FO is offline record sent, and that's a paper. Right now I'm working with Ellucian to try to change the descriptions. I'm not sure why they chose to do order fulfilled, offline record sent. To me, it just should say order fulfilled. Doesn't really matter the different ways, and I think that's a tad bit confusing for people to just know, okay, both of these mean the order was sent. One was just a paper and one was just a PDF. So if you're watching this video and you see a different description in Banner, don't freak out. It still means the same thing. FF means the order was fulfilled. It's a PDF order. FO, offline record sent, was a paper order, but we're trying to get that description to be identical just to make it easier on people and end users to understand. I'm going to show you a little bit of Chatour, but it's going to be difficult because I don't want to show you students' data in a video, but I'm going to do the best just to show you a little bit of information about Chatour. Chatour holds all data on a student's records, not a student's record, on a student's transcript request. So any data they entered when they entered the transcript request is brought over into Banner and it's stored on Chatour. So it brings over the name, the social, the birthday, the email address, their mailing address, any history they provide, like when did they attend your college, which campus did they attend, did they earn any degrees, and then it holds order statuses. So you can see this different statuses the order went through. So when you go to it, you just type in Chatour and then hit enter on your keyboard, and this is what the form looks like. Now I could just perform I could just say go and it'll show me every order that's ever gone through. That's okay if you're in a smaller system and you haven't had many orders that have come through, but if you've had a lot of orders that come through, that could take a while to query all of those records. So what I tell people to use is use the order ID, because when you get the needs research report or the attachment report or the report that you need to look at orders, the order ID is in there. So you would just put the order ID here and then select go, and it would show you just that order ID. You also could do it by the Banner ID or the order to date and from date, or even the status. Is it RG? Show me all my RG orders. But typically you should try to narrow down your filters as much as possible. If you have a student on the phone asking about their request and they don't have their order ID, you could use their Banner ID. So it's showing me quite a challenge to try to show you Chatour and Chatour data without showing you any student information. But once again, I'm just going to try to show you a little bit. So when you access Chatour, the first tab is going to be the transcript order summary. That's going to have the order ID. It's going to have the Banner ID unverified and the Banner ID verified. So the Banner ID unverified means this was the ID provided by the student, but wasn't verified by Banner. The Banner verified ID is the one that was like, okay, Banner did a match and this is the person's Banner ID. It also shows you their names, and it has the cancel button, the student not found button, the manual process button is on that tab. And then you have the student information tab that's going to have the student's name, social security number, birthday, email address, and their address. The third tab has their enrollment history, and I'm going to try to see if I can just show you that data, because the top does have the student information, so I'm just trying to cover that up. But this will show that this particular requester told us that they attended River Parishes from 2009 to 2011. They earned a degree of Business Office Administration in 2012. And their start year was 2009, their end year was 2011. And this is all data that was gleaned off of the transcript request link. And sometimes it may have more than just one school, because if the student attended more than one school or earned more than one degree, it'll provide us with all the information that requester provided. And that's important when you're trying to find those legacy transcripts that weren't in Banner. The next tab is attachment information. So, oops, I need to do that. So this person doesn't have an attachment, but if they would, this icon would be selected. And then after you would review the attachment, you would come in and select this. But you would have to go into the NSC site, review the attachment, approve it. If it's a paper request, you have to print it, because you have to attach it with the transcript once it prints out on the printer and mail it out. But once you review that, you then select attachments reviewed, and then that order will start processing again. The next tab is the recipient order information, and that's just going to show you who is to receive the transcript. So it just has the recipient information. So for this one, it was a college is the recipient. You also can see whether the person chose hold for grades or hold for degrees right here at the bottom. And then the last tab is going to be the order history, and that's going to have those status codes I was telling you. So you can see that this order came in as OR, order received, then it went to ready to generate. So that means that once it came in at OR, Banner was able to do a match. So it was then updated to RG, and then TC, transmission completed, and then FF, order fulfilled, and that means it was a PDF order. And when the order says fulfilled, it means that the PDF was sent to the Banner Cloud, which was then sent to NSC, and NSC mailed it out. So I do realize it was kind of hard to show you everything because I was trying to keep the students' information confidential. But I think it's a good overview of the tabs you're going to see on Chatour and how they work, what information is on it. You will notice as I go through the other videos, almost all information on here is pulled into a burst report that's sent to you only when you need to do something. I did not want college end users to have to look at this every single day. That seems like a waste of your time, or to go through the tabs and gather data. So you will receive a burst report. It goes out 3 times a day. If you have any that needs research, and you research those, and then you get those orders going again, and then you're good to go. You really don't have to spend a lot of time on Chatour. The only time you access Chatour is to get the full social, because we can't put that in a burst report. So we give you part of it, but you have to get the full social if you have to do any type of research to try to find the person record. And then you access Chatour to update the orders, like the ones that the student wasn't found, or if it was a legacy transcript and you printed it on paper, you have to come in here and select manual process. But in a nutshell, this is the status codes of an e-transcript and how the process flows when you're dealing with e-transcripts. The other videos are going to show you more of how to deal with each type of request that does need end user intervention or needs certain types of setup.